I did everything right. 5 a.m. wake-ups, cold showers, journaling like Marcus Aurelius was watching over my shoulder. Check, check, check. And yet, I still felt hollow. Not tired, not unmotivated, just disconnected. Like I was leveling up on paper, but rotting from the inside out. This wasn't burnout. This was something deeper, more subtle, more dangerous. This was the dark side of self-improvement, the part no one talks about, where hustle becomes hiding, where growth becomes guilt, and where all your habits become a mask. It took me 2 years to see it. And when I finally did the one thing I hated most, the thing I'd been avoiding all along, everything changed. Because real transformation doesn't start with routines. It starts with the one thing I was running from, the truth. You can optimize your life to death and still feel hollow. Let's be honest, you've probably been there. You've stacked habits like Tetris blocks. Meditation app? Check. Notion dashboard that could launch a spaceship? Check. 30-day Alpha Warrior Monk Challenge? Check. But you still feel fake, exhausted. Not from laziness, but from trying to outrun yourself. Seneca said it best. It's not that life is short, but that we waste much of it. Self-help today, it's elegant self-avoidance. Busy for the sake of being busy. Like we're scared of facing our own soul. Look at Thorfinn in Season 2. The guy's a literal slave, chopping trees like he's stuck in a Viking lumberjack simulator. But even when his body's working, his soul completely shut off. No revenge, no purpose, just repetition. He's productive, sure, but spiritually, he's dead. That blank stare, that's not just depression. That's what it looks like when your routines are flawless, but your reason is missing. You might not be a farmhand in medieval Denmark, but maybe you're clocking into a job you hate, grinding gym sets for an aesthetic you secretly hope will fix your loneliness, checking off boxes like read 10 pages, meal prep Sundays, be grateful. And yet, Mondays still feel like funerals. You can do all the right things and still end up in the wrong life. Because self-improvement, when divorced from self-confrontation, is just cosmetic. It's like putting a new paint job on a sinking ship. So, here's your first challenge. Stop asking, what's my next habit? Start asking, what am I afraid to feel? Because that's where we're going next. Into the one thing I hated most. Not hustle, not habits, not even hard work, but sitting in silence. I avoided silence like it was poison, because it kind of was. Have you ever tried just sitting in a room? No phone, no podcast, no checklist pretending to be a personality. Just you, your breath, your thoughts. Yeah, it's terrifying. I thought I feared failure, but really, I feared hearing the truth echo once the noise stopped. Because when the world goes quiet, your mind starts yelling. It's like your own personal haunted house, but instead of ghosts, it's regrets, doubts, every should've you've been dodging. Stillness, according to the Stoics, isn't passive. It's resistance training for your soul. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can a man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Beautiful, right? Until you realize your soul might not be the retreat you want it to be, especially if you've been ignoring it for years. Let's talk Vinland Saga Season 2, Episodes 9 and 10. Thorfinn's dream isn't just anime, it's internal warfare. He falls into a pit, drowning in corpses he created. At the bottom, his father, Thor's stoic legend, walking peace treaty, a man who once said, "You have no enemies." And when Thor speaks, he doesn't scold, he invites him to face the truth, to look at what he's done. Not with shame, but with clarity. That's Thorfinn's transformation. Not when he killed, not when he fought, but when he stopped. When he sat with his pain and said, "I don't want to be this person anymore." You don't need a dream pit to get this. Maybe it was the breakup, the late night spiral, the shower where your goals felt fake, or that journal entry you started but never finished. You don't need to fall apart. You just need 5 honest minutes. No background lo-fi, no curated journaling routine, just stillness and what's real. That's what I avoided. and that's what finally healed me. Stillness was the thing I hated most, and it's where the healing started. So here's your next mission. Sit. No headphones, no scroll. Just you, a pen, and whatever truth shows up. Don't journal to sound smart. Journal like your life depends on it. Write what's true, not what's pretty. Because clarity doesn't come from doing more. It comes from being honest with yourself. And that is how everything started to change. Turns out, the hardest enemy wasn't laziness. It was me. We love blaming distractions. I just need to get off my phone. I need a better routine. If I had more time, more energy, more motivation. But let's be real. You can delete Instagram and still waste your day. You can wake up at 5 a.m. and still feel aimless by noon. Because the real fight, it's not in your calendar, it's in your character. You're not battling a lack of time. You're battling the version of you that wants to stay the same. Carol Dweck, the Stanford psychologist behind the growth mindset, said, "We resist change because we're more committed to who we've been than to who we could become. So we build routines, read books, track habits, but we never rewrite the inner script. That voice that says, I'm not enough. What if I fail? What if I try and still lose?" That's the fight. Not your screen time, your story. Thorfinn's not swinging swords anymore, not chasing Ashalad, not killing. He's fighting someone else now, himself. I've killed so many people, I can't even count them. He says that out loud. And when asked, so who are you now? He has no answer. He's not lazy. He's not weak. He's just lost in an identity that no longer exists. Ever feel that? Like you're living inside a version of yourself that should have expired 2 years ago, but you keep wearing the mask because starting over is terrifying? Yeah, same. We build systems. We time block. We cold plunge sadness away. But if your inner script still says, I'm broken, or I'm just not that type of person, then every routine you build will break you. Because it's serving a story that wants to stay small. The truth that hit me the hardest, I wasn't failing because I wasn't doing enough. I was failing because I was doing everything while avoiding the one part of me that didn't want to grow. And that part, he was scared. Scared to let go. Scared to stop being a victim. Scared to admit I had the power all along. So here's your next real challenge. Not another book, not another checklist. Ask yourself, what story am I still living in that I should have buried already? Write it down. Burn it if you have to. Then ask the question that flipped everything for me. Who do I need to become to make that story irrelevant? That's the real battle. And once you win that, everything else becomes strategy. I was consistent, but consistently wrong. For 2 years, I nailed the grind. Gym? Check. Clean meals? Check. Time-blocked calendar that looked like Excel had a baby with a vision board? Check. But one morning, 4:55 a.m., staring at my alarm clock, I felt nothing. No pride, no dopamine, just dread. I was doing all the right things for all the wrong reasons. See, Stoic discipline isn't just about repetition. It's about alignment with your values, not your vanity. It's not, I wake up early because high performers do. It's, I wake up early because I'm building something meaningful. Discipline without direction, that's just another addiction. Young Thorfinn was the most disciplined killer on the battlefield. He trained, fought, obeyed, but his why? Revenge. And when that revenge was gone, so was his identity. That's what happens when your habits are driven by pain instead of purpose. Now compare that to post-slavery Thorfinn. The man refuses to fight, not from fear, but from conviction. He doesn't need a sword to prove who he is anymore. His discipline isn't for show. It's a commitment to peace. I had to stop chasing routines that made me feel elite and start building ones that made me feel whole. I stopped training to look good on Instagram and started training to feel alive. I stopped journaling for quotes and started journaling to cry. Discipline isn't a reflex. It's a sacred vow to the version of you you're still becoming. And if your system isn't tied to a mission, it will betray you. So here's your step. Pick one habit, just one. Ask yourself, who is this habit making me become? If the answer doesn't align with the life you actually want, drop it. Rebuild it. Make it part of your code, not your coping mechanism. The moment I stopped trying to be impressive was the moment I started becoming unstoppable. You know what's exhausting? Pretending to be the version of you that should have it all figured out. The one that looks like progress, but feels like performance. Real growth starts when you drop the act, when you forgive yourself for not being there yet. Thorfinn choosing peace over vengeance, that wasn't weakness, it was rebirth. It was the death of the boy chasing revenge and the rise of a man who knew that forgiving himself was harder than any war. Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do. That's not a tactic, that's a blueprint. Now, each morning I ask, what truth am I avoiding today? Then I write it down. One sentence, no filters. It's not about sounding wise. It's about getting honest. That one habit rebuilt everything. You don't need more tools. You need more truth. When Thorfinn returns to Iceland, he doesn't flex his suffering. He chooses a new path to build Vinland, a land of peace, a future worth protecting without picking up a sword. That's real strength. Not reacting, but rebuilding. You might not be crossing oceans, but maybe you're finally done surviving a life you never chose and ready to build one that feels like home. So, forget the to-do list. Write a to-be list. One word, one trait, and act like that version of you already exists. Because peace doesn't come from routines. It comes from purpose. And your future, it's not hiding in who you were. It's waiting in who you choose to become. That's how you build your Vinland. So stop chasing tools. Start facing truth. That's when everything changes.